Hello, Year 2. Welcome to your comprehension session today. So, we're on Thursday, the 25th of February, and I want to start by saying a really big well done to a few children because I've been setting you some writing challenges with your comprehension activities. Because now we're back at the front of our comprehension books. The texts are quite short, and because we are getting so super at our comprehension, I know that we'll be able to answer the questions quite quickly. So I've been setting you some writing challenges, and I want to say a big well done to 4 children in particular because they've really impressed me by completing their writing challenges this week and also for doing such a super job. So I've loved seeing your letters and your postcards and your bits of things that you have been doing for your writing challenge. So a special extra well done to Zoe and Dante, to Ava C, and to Penny. I've been really impressed with your writing challenges this week, and I have loved seeing what you've been up to. So well done. Keep them up. Let's see what we are up to in comprehension today then. So Tuesday the 25th of February, can I answer questions about a diary? We mentioned a diary yesterday, didn't we, when we thought about a recount. So a diary is a recount of what somebody has been up to. It might be somebody writing about their day. It might be somebody writing in their diary because something good has happened. Okay, so a diary is written in first person. It's written using I or we because it's somebody writing about their day, about their experiences, or about their feelings. So sometimes people might write in a diary when something really exciting's happened. Sometimes people might write in a diary if they're feeling a little bit sad or worried, because people sometimes find that writing down how they are feeling helps to make them feel a little bit better. Some people like to write in their diary every single day, and it's quite nice when you get a little bit older, if you have written in a diary, to look back and to read what sorts of things you were up to. So, can I answer questions about a diary? We've got some retrieval, some inference questions today, and then we are going to be asked to think about the vocabulary. Remember, vocabulary means the words that have been used and checking we understand the meaning of the words. So, our text today is called The Science Museum, and it is on page 4. I would like you to have a little chat with your grown-up about what a museum is. Okay, we'll have a little chat. What is a museum? Have you ever been to a museum? If you have, I would love to hear all about what you found out at the museum. And then I would like you to use what we know about museums to make a little prediction. So we know that it's about the Science Museum, and we know that it is a diary text. So I want you to maybe have a think about making some predictions. What sorts of things do you think they might be reading about in the diary? What might they be writing in their diary? So have a little pause, do that activity first, and then come back to me. Okay, so a museum then is a building, isn't it? It's a building where lots and lots of things are stored for people to look at, to find out about, to learn about, to study. Okay, and it can be things from the past, so things from a long time ago. And obviously, we know this is a science museum. Okay, so I would imagine a science museum to be filled of lots of exciting equipment and things to explore and to learn about. So, if we think about science, we might learn about animals in science, we might learn about materials in science. There's lots and lots of different science topics. So I bet a science museum is a very good place to visit. Let's have a little look then at some tricky words before we start reading. So remember, sometimes we might come across words that are tricky, that we don't quite know how to read yet. So we're going to have a little think. That word is the word because, isn't it? It's one of our tricky words, that one, because. This one then is the word. Remember, OR can make an sound as well, can't it? So this is the word work, isn't it? Work. Work. So then this one then is worth. Worth. And worth can have a couple of meanings. So worth can be thinking about the value of something and how much it costs. So if you were selling something, you might say it is worth £100, which means that's how much you want to sell it for because that's how much it costs or how much it's valued at. But then you might use it if you, I don't know, had to queue for a really, really long time, but then what you got to go to at the end of it was really, really fun, you might say that the queuing up was worth the waiting. Okay, so we can use that in a couple of ways. I've got our soft C there, letter C, making a S sound. So space. Space is another sciencey topic, isn't it? So maybe they're going to be talking a little bit about space when they visited the Science Museum. Space. Okay. We've got EAR in this word making an sound. So ED is making D in that word. Learned. Past tense of learn. We learned about the Great Fire of London. Now, if you're in my phonics, we're going to come across this word in phonics tomorrow, because this word has a long U sound. So it is human. 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 We are humans, aren't we? The human body. And that's another thing you can find out about in science, isn't it? The human body or humans. We've got an E making an E sound. Again, it's linked with our phonics. If you're in my phonics set, E. Oh, I'm on my pen. In. Orm. I'm going to chunk it. Enorm. Enorm. We've got OUS, which makes an us. We haven't come across OUS endings in our phonics yet. So enormous. Enormous. Give the video a pause, have a chat with your grown-up. What does enormous mean? What does enormous mean? Because that's going to be important for one of your questions later. Enormous. Enormous. Hi. This word is a tricky word to read, and I'm going to break this word in half to do my chunking. I'm going to start with this part, because this part, planes. Planes. Remember when we chunk and we break a word into chunks, we don't always have to start with the first chunk if it is that we see part that we think we can read or recognise. So planes. So this word is aeroplanes. Aeroplanes. Some of you might have been lucky to have been on an aeroplane. Okay? Maybe they have some aeroplanes in the Science Museum to learn about. Okay, I would like you to have a little read then now. So remember, we are the Science Museum and we are on page 4. Okay, the Science Museum on page 4. I would like you to go and have a read of that now and then come back to me for some practice questions. Off you go. Okay, super. Did you do a super job? I'm sure you did. Let's have a little look then at some practice questions that we're going to find in our text. Okay. So this one then says, how did they travel to the museum? How did they travel to the museum? So I think my key word there is the word travel. So what I've done is looked in my text for the word travel. And I noticed that I'd got the word travelled. So we said sometimes you might not find the exact key word from the question in the text, you might find a similar one. So we've got the suffix ed, so it says travelled. We travelled there on a coach from school. We travelled there on a coach from school. So our answer to how did they travel? It's a retrieval question, and we are going to copy down the answer. Oh, my pen's changing a little bit slowly. There we go. So they, remember retrieval questions, we can just copy down. So they travelled. They travelled on a coach. And a coach is like a big bus, isn't it? It's like a big bus. hopefully year two, if we get to go on a trip soon from school, when we're all back at school, hopefully if things are a little bit more normal very soon, maybe we might be able to go on a coach to visit somewhere really exciting on a trip. That would be good, wouldn't it? A coach. Maybe you've travelled on a coach. Maybe you've been on a coach journey to travel somewhere, maybe on a holiday. Okay, what two things did they learn about? So we're thinking about what they learned about. Let's go back to our text. And I noticed I've got the word learned there. At the museum, we learned all about travelling to space. So travelling to space is one thing they learned about. But then when I had a little look through, I couldn't see the word learn or learned again. What I did notice that it said found out. Remember, we've talked about this before, how sometimes in the text you might find a synonym to the key word in the question, and that means a word that means the same or similar. So found out means the same as learned, doesn't it? So we also found out about the human body. So the two things they learned about was traveling to space and the human body. Again, I'm going to copy my answers down in a sentence. Remembering capital letter, finger spaces, full stops, and remember to copy those keywords really carefully. So they learned about, I've got to remember to write both things because it asks me for two. So they learned about space and the human body. They learned about space and the human body. Put it in a nice, clear sentence. You're getting really good at doing that yourselves, you two. Okay. Let's have a little look then at your questions. Let's see what questions you have got to do today. Question 1. Why did the journey to the museum take a long time? So remember, the journey is the way of travelling, isn't it? So if you are travelling somewhere, the act of travelling is the journey. So if you go on holiday, you have to make the journey to get there, don't you? Why did the journey to the museum take a long time? Okay, so we have got the keyword of journey, which we are going to look for in our text. Why did the journey take a long time? It took a long time because, and you are going to pick out the answer. It is a retrieval question. Question 2, what does enormous mean? What does enormous mean? We had that as one of our tricky words, and I think you will have had a chance to have a chat about that with your grown-up. But again, find the word enormous in there and see if that matches with what you've been thinking about the word enormous means. I guess that you will already know what it means, but put it into a nice sentence. It means something. Okay, there's our vocabulary question now. Question 3, why didn't Abigail get to see the model aeroplanes? It tells us about model aeroplanes in the text. Go back to the text. What did it say? Why didn't she get to see them? You've got to retrieve the answer. And then question 4 is our inference question. And this question is similar to the one we had earlier in the week, thinking about, well, a couple we've had actually, thinking about how we know someone has enjoyed something. So do you think Abigail liked the Science Museum? How do you know? So you have to think about what Abigail has said about the museum, which would give us a clue as to whether she liked it or not. So that's an inference question. It doesn't say in the text, Abigail liked the Science Museum, but she might have told us something which gives us a clue. So yes, she did because, or no, she didn't because. Okay, we're doing really, really well at answering those inference questions. So 4 questions to do. You might want to pause the video now and do them, and then come back to find out about your writing challenge. Or you might want to listen to your writing challenge now and then go away and do all of it. So let's see your writing challenge for today. Challenge: can you write your own diary entry? Can you write your own diary entry? So you're going to start with Dear Diary. You're going to write a few sentences and you're going to sign it with your name at the bottom, a little bit like a letter. Your diary could be about today. Your diary could be about yesterday. You could be writing about something that's happened in your past. You could even make it up. It could be a pretend diary that you might be writing. Okay, so remember, when we write a diary, we write in first person. So first person, capital letters, full stops, cursive writing, finger spaces. So let's see, I might have a little go at doing a sentence for my diary because I've put my name at the bottom. So, dear diary, I might write about something I did at the weekend. So I'm going to start with at the weekend. At the weekend. At the weekend. I, first person, and we'll use a capital I. I went for a walk with my children. I went for a walk with my children. And then I would go on, if I was writing my diary, to explain what it was like and what sorts of things happened. Remember, you can write a diary to tell about your feelings. You might want to document something exciting that's happened. Have a little go, see if you can write your own diary. You might want to talk about anything that's happened to you recently, or you can even do an imaginary diary. And I wonder if when I'm reading it, I will be able to tell whether it is something that really happened or whether it is a pretend one. So have a little go. Remember to use your book, your red lined literacy book, and I look forward to seeing your comprehension answers and your writing activities for today. Keep working really, really hard. We can't wait to see what learning you have been doing. Well done. Keep going.